everyone for joining us today. My name is Larry Kim. I'm here. I'm going to be talking about the top 10 chatbot marketing hacks of all time, specifically everything you ever needed to know about Facebook Messenger marketing. I'm excited to be here with you today. I have prepared a very comprehensive agenda, including an introduction to the Facebook Messenger and chatbots. We'll be doing our very own chat blast. We'll be building our own chatbots, and I'll be giving tips and tricks on how to do advanced chat blasting, how to grow your Messenger contact list, as well as place ads that drive traffic into your Facebook Messenger, your funnels. Before getting into all the details about all the crazy hacks today, I wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Larry Kim. I'm slightly obsessed with unicorns. I founded a company called WordStream in 2008. It's the world's largest pay-per-click advertising software company that was recently sold last month for about $150 million to Gannett. About a year ago, I started a new venture with some partners. It's MobileMonkey, and we're aiming to be the world's greatest provider of Facebook Messenger marketing software. Outside of work, I have a family with 2 kids. One of them is brand new, about 2 months old. And in my spare time, I'm actually restoring a 200-year-old haunted house in Harvard Square in Cambridge. It's a 2-year project and should be done, in the next 6 months. Enough about me. Back to our story. We're talking about Facebook Messenger marketing and why marketers should care about chatbot marketing. Well, here's a couple of reasons for you. For starters, there's more daily active users on popular messaging applications than there are on social media. So more daily active users of popular messaging applications, yet less than 1% of businesses have any ability to automatically engage or even connect with customers on those messaging platforms. In terms of Facebook Messenger, it's a big deal because they have something like 1.3 billion daily active users, and these are the same types of people that you're likely going after using your Facebook ads and organic Facebook publishing efforts. The engagement on Facebook Messenger marketing is somewhere between 10 and 80 times better than what you would typically see in a social media newsfeed or in email. Typically, open rates in email is around 5 to 10%, and organic newsfeed visibility is less than 1%, whereas it's not uncommon to see open rates and click rates of between 50 and 80%, often within the first hour. Most importantly, messaging is the preferred communication method for an entire generation of internet users. There is a profound shift that has happened over the last decade in terms of how people like to consume and interact with information on the internet. And today, people prefer texting and messaging more than email and social media combined. So I would think that this is a great time to be thinking about adding messenger marketing into your marketing mix. When people talk about chatbots, the thing that comes to mind for most people is this notion of virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa or Google Home. When I think of messaging as a marketing channel, I think that a much greater or interesting use case is not just automating customer service. I mean, sure, that's one of the use cases that you can use for chatbots. But the thing that I'm so excited about and why I started this company is because I think of chatbots as a way of doing extremely engaging, personalized email marketing. So let me give you a couple examples of this. In messaging, you can send surveys. You can send registration forms. And of course, these are so much more interactive because I can send a push notification, 10 minutes or an hour before the event to remind you about the event that's going to happen today. We can segment our users and and come up with very, very specific drip campaigns that are personalized to every individual Messenger subscriber. So these are all things that are very easy to do and powerful within Messenger. They're just not possible to do in email alone. The easiest way to get to the core of chat blasting is just to do a live demo of how this works. Now, in order for this to work, I'm going to need your help. Um, you know, I'm going to need you to subscribe. I'm going to need you to message my page in order for me to send you a message. So chat blasting isn't like email marketing where I can just collect a list of emails and dump them into, into a chat, into a email blaster. In order for me to get permissions to message you, you actually have to message me first. So in order to do this, please take a moment, open your browsers, go to www.facebook.com/ws.larrykim, and then click the blue send message button. I'm going to give you a minute here because all the following examples, kind of require that I'm able to message you something here. So just open a browser, go to www.facebook.com/ws.larrykim. That's my old company, WordStream. ws.larrykim. Click on the send a message button here and just type whatever you wish. Just type hello or how's it going, Larry? Just type something in here. And then what will happen here is all these messages, by the way, are being sent through your business manager, your page inbox. Every Facebook page has an inbox, and you can see people like Mark and all these great people, Ginny and Ryan. You've all messaged me here in the page. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so that's how this works. You've initiated a conversation with me. And now I'd like to show you how we do chat blasting in MobileMonkey. So chat blasting in MobileMonkey, it's really powerful. The first thing you need to do is you just need to create some content. Okay, this is a pretty simple example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, join our Facebook group. Okay, I'm gonna message you a little note saying I'd like you to join our Facebook group, which is, by the way, right here. It's the MobileMonkey community of approximately 2,000 or so uh, messenger marketing enthusiasts. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that link and I'm going to create some text. Uh, you know, please join our secret MobileMonkey Facebook group. Add a button. I'm just going to insert the URL. The button name will be let me in, exclamation mark. Let me in, heap of 2,000 plus marketing experts. And of course, this is just static text. You could add images, of course. I'm just going to add a simple image so that we have one. I'll just find some image here of a monkey and move these around here. So it's a lot like composing an email as you would in MailChimp. It's just there's basic elements like text and images, GIFs. These are dynamic elements, forms, and quick questions. We'll get into that in just a second. But so that's step one. We've created some content that we can send you. The next thing we need to do is create an audience. So that's like an email marketing where you need to have a list of people to send. So that's in the audiences area here. And so I'm just going to create an audience. Okay, so I'm going to call it today's webinar, like August webinar, and we're just going to add a filter that we're going to go after people who signed up today. Okay, so that's all of the people on this webinar. Last chance, by the way, to sign up for this, and you can see here. There's the preview of all the people who signed up for this. Thank you everyone for doing that. I'm just going to click done. And of course, what you do then is you go to the Chat Blaster. Okay, so the Chat Blaster says, create a new chat blast. It's very simple. We'll say it's the invitation to, invitation to MobileMonkey group. So I'm going to send it to the August webinar folks, and I'm going to send them to the join our Facebook group page. You can test the page just to see how that will look. Why don't I just test that just to make sure it looks good. Here it is. It just says, please join our secret MobileMonkey Facebook group of 2,000 plus marketing experts. Let me in. So that looks correct. Of course, you can do immediate chat blasting, or you can do scheduled blasting. That's like where you time for a specific time. The other thing you need to do is you need to specify what's the purpose of this chat blast. So Facebook wants to know if it's a promotional update, like where we're trying to sell something, or if it's just like a non-promotional content. So in this case, it's just an invitation, so it's a non-promotional subscription material. So I'm going to send this away, and boom, you should be receiving this any minute now. Let me just go to the page inbox here, and you can see here, see, please join our secret MobileMonkey group. Like, oh, everyone's getting the message here. So that's really, you've just experienced hopefully your first chat blast here. It takes 2 minutes to do. It's very easy. It's very powerful. The neat thing about this is that it generates extremely high open rates and extremely high engagement rates. So let's talk a little bit more about that now that you've kind of experienced the power of your first chat blast. Okay, so the first thing that you'll notice is that in MobileMonkey, anyone who messages your page, you'll receive their contact information. Not all of their contact information, but just enough to strike up a conversation here. So these are, Brenda and Marcia and Laura and Kevin. We just get your location, first and last name, time zone, as well as your profile photo. Okay, and so. Using this information, we can. That's how we're able to do these chat blasts back to you. Okay, so I think that's very interesting. You can let's talk a little bit about building more interactive content, because the thing that I was blasting here was very basic. Let's talk about some more advanced structures. So this is a little bit more interactive. This is an example of a chatbot that is sending kind of a form. So it's asking users for their first name, their email address, phone number, and reason for calling today. This is a totally automated session. It's not a live person, and this chat is taking place in Facebook Messenger. How do you do this? If you're an engineer, you can use the Facebook Messenger API. They provide an API that's free to use, but most marketers use visual chatbot builders like MobileMonkey, and of course, it's not either or. If you want, you can do a chat blast, but at any given time, you can still jump into the conversation just by going to your page inbox and talking directly to the customer manually. And of course, when the user, when you're talking manually to a user, the chatbot will shut itself up. So it's not like two people talking at the same time. Here's some of the basics that you need to know. There's about 10 or so different things that you can send out in your chat content. It's not unlike creating HTML pages. So there's different chat widgets. One of them is a text block, and one of them is an image block. We just showed you how to do that. There's some more sophisticated things like galleries. Those are just like, a sequence of images, lists. a video, etc. Those are some of the basic building blocks, and what you do is you just assemble those different building blocks into pages, and then you can then send a chat page to a user. Um, just a moment here. Now there's different types of, this is the exact example that we just did, where we combined an image and a piece of text into a chat page and blasted that. And then of course, that's what this looks like, as you should have seen by now on your phone. The question becomes, how do you get more dynamic user input, like, the webinar registration forms and all that stuff? And so for that, we've got two dynamic elements. One of them is known as form, and the other is known as quick question. They're kind of the same idea. A quick question is just one question, whereas a form is a sequence of one or more questions. And so, for example, if we were asking people to sign up via chat for a webinar, you could have a multiple choice question where you kind of pre-populate a bunch of different buttons for the user to press. Or you could have free-form text input questions where you could just ask them to enter their email address or reason for calling today, and have them type something in there and just process the input as such. And so that's what this looks like in Facebook Messenger. It's just a very interactive chat stream that's fully automatic, and we're basically asking and answering these questions and saving the user responses for subsequent usage later. So we can ask questions like, are you an in-house marketer or an agency? Every time they give a little bit of information about themselves, you can save that in a variable for subsequent use later in defining more custom audiences. Two other chat widgets that I wanted to point out today that are really helpful. One is a video widget. So videos, I think, are a fantastic thing you can send over chat because it sends a lot of information. Another one is an attachment. That's sending over content via like a PDF, rather than sending them a link to download something. Like, just send them the PDF file directly in Messenger, and they can just browse it on their phone. In terms of chatbot navigation, getting around in your bot, there's two options. There's a button-based navigation. That's where you just kind of put a lot of menu items, so that the user really knows what is provided by the bot. There's also a new trend emerging around sort of these menuless systems. That's where it's kind of, how can we help you today? And it's kind of more open-ended. The user just types in whatever the heck they want to. That's a little bit more advanced. Basically what you do is you have to create a lot of different pieces of content, and each time you create one of your chat pages, just add some triggers for that content. So for example, we just created a webinar page. If you added certain keywords like today's webinar or register for today's webinar, if you associated the content with those keywords, later if a user then types a request to register for a webinar, that will then trigger the piece of content that you've created, the chat page, and then we'll send them through that piece of content. So it's a little bit like in AdWords, how the idea is to create a bunch of ads and keywords, and the keywords trigger the ads when a user searches for something kind of similar sounding intent. So then the customer service or Q&A use case here is to provide some basic responses to some of the most common answers that you get for your business, like what are your hours or directions to your office, and then periodically review the list of unanswered questions, providing content to serve to the user for the next time somebody asks for that type of question. A little bit more going deeper into chat blasting, how to chat like a master blaster. I just wanted to give you a couple ideas here. Idea number one, when you blast somebody for the first time, and I didn't do this earlier because this is just a webinar. So what you can do is you can be a little bit more clear with the opt-in. So when somebody becomes a contact, you can ask them to explicitly opt in if you wish. Number two, when you do a chat blast, it's always nice to include information how to unsubscribe from tips or unsubscribe from your chat blast list. Simply tell them to type stop or unsubscribe at the end of your chat blast, and then they can conveniently remove themselves if they don't wish to further receive your updates. And in order to enable that functionality, there's nothing you need to do. This is fully enabled already in MobileMonkey. If a user wishes to unsubscribe, we will process that unsubscribe request on their behalf for you. Another crazy idea is to make the user engage. So rather than sending like a really long kind of email copy where you have the entire story that you want to send in that chat blast, what we'd like to do is break it up a little bit. Just give a teaser and then insert a button like, hey, do you want to know the secrets of how to grow your contact list? Insert a button that says send me the secrets, and that could send some additional content on like the whereabouts of this secret content. It's kind of silly, but it actually generates a tremendous amount of engagement. Another idea, and this is brand new in MobileMonkey, this year, has to do with drip campaigns. So drip campaigns, and by the way, let's just take a look here. Drip campaigns. So there is a drip campaign set up for every new subscriber that I've set up. So what I've done is I've created this thing called a drip campaign, and I can show you what it is. It's basically, I'm sure you've been getting these messages over the last few minutes. After 1 minute, since you became a contact, I sent you tip number 1, and then I waited another minute, sending you tip number 2, and then it's a sequence of about 7 or 8 messages over the next 24 hours or so. All right, so it's just simple. It's just like email. It's like chat blasting where you specify, what audience are you blasting to, okay, and what content are you sending them. It's just that you're sending a sequence of content, and I can show you those pages. They're right here in the new contact strip here. So tip number 1, did you know that MobileMonkey platform brings together all your, blah, 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 blah. So you can just, come up with your content. But the tip that for the drip campaign was to kind of front load them. So if you're used to email marketing, sometimes people like to do like, a 7-day autoresponder sequence, one tip a day kind of thing. In messaging, like nobody remembers who they messaged like, 7 days ago or whatever. And so I think the key here is just to try to get all the blasts in within the first hour or 2, so that you can really make an impression and that they'll really remember who the heck you are, and never forget you. A final idea here for chat blasting is to segment your way to success and higher engagement rates. You can ask the users different types of questions, and asking them, do you like donkeys or unicorns? And then the reason why you would do this is because you could then segment the audience. This is a silly example, but if you're asking them if they were an agency or an in-house marketer, you could then send different types of content and updates based on their different preferences. Let's talk a little bit about blasting rules and GDPR issues. It's funny, GDPR was such a big deal in May. I haven't heard much about it recently, but it still does exist. Basically, Facebook requires that you describe the purpose of the chat blasts that you're sending, and they require that you declare it as either being promotional or non-promotional. So promotional is just where you're trying to directly and overtly sell something. The non-promotional, there's 20 different categories. For example, shipping updates or account updates or password reminders or webinar reminders or new blog posts, etc. Those are all considered non-promotional. In terms of what specifically constitutes a promotional blast, this is exactly the example from the Facebook documentation. They say, Super Monday deals, eat one beef burger and get another one free, discount code 5GP542. That is a promotional message. So anything other than this, you're you're good. You can still send promotional messages, but there's some limitations. Let me describe those limitations. So it's known as the 24+1 rule. So in the first 24 hours when a user engages with you via Messenger, you are permitted to send as much promotional or non-promotional messages as you wish. Of course, that's so long as the user remains subscribed. At any given time, they can unsubscribe. All right. Beyond that 24-hour first period, and at any time thereafter, there is an unlimited. There is no limit to the number of non-promotional blasts that you can send them. Provided that you have something called subscription messaging, which I will describe to you in just a minute. In addition, you can send one promotional blast. Okay, so first 24 hours, you can send whatever you want, promotional, non-promotional. Thereafter, there's a limit of one promotional blast and no limit for non-promotional stuff. So the tip here is to, because there's no limitation on non-promotional blasts, the tip is to send non-promotional blasts which restart sessions. So you can send something like, hey, quick question, do you like unicorns? So that's non-promotional. It's not trying to sell anything. It's just a question. And so I just put a quick question button, like a yes or no. And so the funny thing about this is that regardless of which button the user presses, that's considered a re-engagement. And so that user is then considered a new contact, like a new session, and the 24-hour clock resets itself. I mentioned earlier that it's required that you get this permission from Facebook to message your subscribers in a non-promotional content to your subscribers. This is a very important thing that you need to apply for. It's in your page settings. Just go under the Messenger platform and go into advanced messaging features. And there's a feature called subscription messaging. This will allow you to send non-promotional blog content or announcements or whatever you wish, just as long as it's not selling juicy beef burgers, apparently. You can send this in perpetuity, provided that you're approved for this. So just click through the buttons and get this permission right away. My colleague has posted a really great blog post on MobileMonkey's blog detailing exactly how to apply for this subscription messaging permission and tips on how to get approved on the first or second shot. A lot of people ask me, Larry, is this spam? It sounds like you're just trying to turn Messenger into kind of like the next channel that'll be ruined by marketers. And so I just wanted to discuss that notion. Is this spam or is this really valuable stuff? Because I'd like to compare sort of the engagement rates for email versus messenger marketing. And so I want to share something personal here. I do both email marketing and messenger marketing. Okay, and here's the thing: like email open rates, they're generally in the toilet. It's 5 to 10% is pretty typical. My team works our butts off to try to get these engagement rates up, and then we're able to get around a 20% open rate. We consider that really a fantastic outcome. And the click-through rates are extremely low. It's typically 1 or 2%. All right. And in contrast, messaging typically gets 50, 60, 70% read rates. And the real kicker is these response rates that can be anywhere from 10 to 20% click rates. So what we're seeing is that the engagement rates on Messenger is enormously higher, both in the read and an order of magnitude higher in the click rates. Okay, so my first thinking is that if this is truly just spam, okay, with no value, that we're not providing any value to these people, if that was true, why on earth would 60+% of people read and 20% of people engage with this content? And the answer is because Messenger it's not going to be ruined to the extent that email was ruined by marketer. There's a lot of built-in features in messenger marketing that kind of makes it so that what happened to email marketing won't necessarily happen to messaging, or if it does, it will take much longer. Take, for example, can spammers just buy a list of names to chat blast? Well, you can absolutely do that in email. Just go to ZoomInfo, or just, any of these list services, and or even scrape the web for emails. Heck, you can even guess people's emails. So that's really a low barrier to spammers. Whereas in messaging, as I mentioned before, the only way I was able to message you was I had to compel you to message me first. Okay. I think one of the reasons for these really high open rates and engagement rates is because users are hearing from companies that they care about, that they want to hear updates from, and so that's one of the reasons why these engagement rates are so high. Similarly, when you get a spam message, you're never really sure if people are going to honor your unsubscribe request, whereas in messaging, it's done by a central kind of authority, and so that has to be obeyed. And furthermore, the content that we can send, such as surveys or webinar registrations or appointment reminders, are more interactive than anything you could do in email. So hopefully I've convinced you that messenger marketing is really valuable and is really easy to do. I wanted to talk briefly about how to build your chat contact list, right? Because if you have messenger marketing with tens of thousands of contacts, well, then that's extremely valuable. So I want to share with you a couple tips on how to get messenger marketing subscribers. So this is one I'd like everyone to try out as well, because I think it's really big. This is the most killer way to get tons of subscribers, right? The problem with the previous example that we were talking about, getting people to click the send message button to your page, is that, like, realistically, how often does that happen? Like once a day, maybe 10 times a day, not that often, right? And it's just hard to get people to message your page. But it's very often that people will comment on the posts that you're sharing on Facebook, correct? And so let's just take a look at this one here. It's called a Facebook post autoresponder, or Facebook comment guard, basically. And what the Facebook comment guard does is it sends a message to anyone who here, it's bit.ly Facebook comment. What was the URL? It's postguard. It was post guard. Okay. Does everyone have that? bit.ly/Facebook-post-guard. Okay. This is a killer feature, because what it does is that anyone who comments on the social media posts that you're sharing will be sent a message that asks them if they'd like to, you can send them whatever the heck you want to send them. So I'm just going to type in the box here, test, and it'll and I ask that, if you could do that too, that would be great, just so you can see it yourself. So what just happened here was Messenger just sent me a thing here. It just says, hey, Larry, you can build autoresponders in Facebook Messenger and MobileMonkey. Do you want to see a demo on how to do this? Okay, so that's just an example of one of these autoresponders in Messenger and Facebook. But I think this is such a cool idea, because what I like to do is I like to put very specific autoresponders on my most engaging posts. So this is like an example post that I did in January that had 714 comments. Okay, that's a lot of engagement, and so I can turn those engagers into subscribers by creating a comment guard. Let me show you how that's done. It's very simple. So all you do is you go into MobileMonkey, and you go into the lead magnets section here. You see this lead magnets? So there's 5 or 6 different lead magnets, but as I was saying earlier, my most favorite, most powerful one is the Facebook comment guard, okay? And all you do is you click New Comment Guard, okay? And then you can, there's a message, it could just be, you know, new comment guard. So what you need to do is you can send them a message, and there's 2 messages that we send them. The first message is for people who have never interacted with your page before, okay? Or who have never messaged you on Messenger before. So the message could be something like, "Do you like unicorns?" You know, and then they type yes or no. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm just sending them a reply via Messenger, but in order for them to become a subscriber, they have to message the page. They have to type in either yes or no. And once they've typed a response, okay, you can then send them to, you know, whatever piece of content that you've created. You know, like, you know, well, then browse our, you know, selection of unicorns. You know, you can create that using the builder. But basically, it's you send them kind of a short question, and then they engage with it, and then you send them to a specific page, chat or chat funnel, a sequence of pages that you've created, and then you apply this to either specific posts. Okay, you can apply the comment guard to specific posts, or you can just do a generic catch-all so that you're capturing everybody who ever messages your Facebook page. That's called a catch-all. And so that will be applied to every single post. If you are, you can always override the catch-all by creating a comment guard on a more specific post, okay? And so the other thing you can do here is a frequency cap. Okay, so a frequency cap is like, it might be annoying if you put a comment guard on a live stream, and if the user was typing in, 10 comments every minute, they kept on getting the same autoresponder over and over and over again. And so you can kind of cap the number of times you send the autoresponder to whatever frequency you desire, like once a day or once every 2 days or whatever you wish. And so that's how you create these powerful comment guards. Is I think every social media manager should be doing this. You should be talking to your team and telling them to turn this on, because that is the most killer way to get free subscribers. And it also it actually changes how I post content to my Facebook page. Okay, so now that there's this private channel that I can, send messages to in response to comments, using the bot, what I like to do is I post questions on my wall. So for example, what's the answer? The battle of the English and the math. One rabbit saw 6 elephants while going to the river. Every elephant saw 2 monkeys. Each one held one parrot. How many animals are going to the river? Okay, so these are these silly this was just a dumb example, but these are these silly questions that everyone has like an opinion on, and they want to guess, is it 10 or 20 or 50? And so basically what I'm saying here is, like, if you just post a guess, I'll auto reply with you the correct answer, as well as an explanation for how many monkeys or how many animals are going to the river. So that's one example. Another example could be like a webinar registration. So you could say, or you could post an invitation to your Facebook group, okay? And then you could say, we'll send, just drop a comment, and we'll send you the location of the secret group via Messenger. You see what I'm saying? Like, so there's this new paradigm that wasn't previously possible. You can make these posts a lot more interactive now that you can set responses to what people are posting on your Facebook wall. And of course, there's an additional benefit of doing it this way, and that is it drives engagement on your content, which then is required to get visibility in your newsfeed. This is my second favorite platform. It's called the landing page. So let me show you all these landing pages. So the second most powerful um, uh, powerful lead magnet is to create a landing page, such as this one right here. So, sign up for updates from the Boston Globe. This is just a simple example. So how do you do this? So basically, it's a very simple thing. You could insert whatever pictures you wish, and you could just insert some text. Okay, and so this is a really killer landing page. Okay, because usually on landing pages you have to fill out information like your first and last name and email and all this stuff, right? So Messenger has a special landing page kind of thing where if all they need to do is press this blue button and you get all their information. Remember? So like as soon as someone touches that blue button, you get all their information: the first name, last name, gender, location, language, profile photo. You get all that information, and all the user needs to do is press this blue button here. Okay, that's just so much more easy than filling out desktop forms or mobile forms. It just takes one click, and then the reward is it's not only more convenient for the user, but you're getting all that user information, but also the ability to send push notifications to that person, because he or she is now a messenger contact. So I think that's really interesting. And what you can do here is you can not only just grab their contact information, you can also send them into a messenger funnel that you've created. So like, if this was like for a PDF download, like like the holy grail of, or like the B2B go-to offer is it's a free PDF download, right? So this could be it could just be get our new ebook, right? And basically what you do is when they click on this button, you can send them to a page which sends the user a PDF file via Messenger. And I think that's a really radical way of thinking about forms that is just like, mind-blowing. There's other ways to grow your Messenger marketing list. Let's just continue. These are some other ways. One is having a checkbox plugin. This is basically a ability to have people opt in on regular HTML forms. The way you do that is you just go to the HTML elements and you just say, I want to have this checkbox plugin, and you just copy this code here and insert that into your web forms. The next one is a link. So that's where you're just linking to your bot. And of course, for any one of those pages, you can create, if I go to here and I say I want a new element, create a link, you can just choose the chat page that you created, like that. I think it was the group. Join our Facebook group. See, so I had created that chat page, but you can then get a link to that page here. And then you can just load it into a browser and it pulls up that page that we just created. So then it follows, there it is. It just says, if you want to join our secret group of marketers here, you see that? And so you could then insert that link on your website or in your emails, or wherever you can link to things. Just close out of these things. This is my third favorite lead magnet. It's the website chat widget. Okay, so what this does, it's this thing on MobileMonkey's website, or any website for that matter. You can insert a chat widget here at the bottom here, and so this is far superior to other. See, now it's saying, "Welcome, Larry. How can I help you?" So it's far superior to other chat widgets because anybody who chats with you is actually opting into messaging, right? So I can just say like jobs. And so in conventional chat marketing, if somebody closes this window, if they close this window here, okay, then you have no idea who that was, and you have no ability to get back in touch with that person. But in MobileMonkey, because this is being done through Messenger, that person who chatted with you will show up in your contacts list, and you'll have the ability to send push notifications to that person. So that's the chat widget. The last thing that I wanted to share today was the send to Messenger Facebook ads. Okay, so this is also a very powerful way to get more value out of Facebook Messenger. Take a look here. I'm going to share with you my actual campaign stats. So let's pull up the page here. In Ads Manager, okay, you can create a lot of different types of ads. There's traffic ads, engagement ads, but in the last few months, there's this new ad format called Send to Messenger ad. Okay, and I can show you how that works. Basically, it's just you're basically here it's right here. So this is a all these windows keep popping up. Let me see if I can show you an ad here. So this is a Send to Messenger ad. Okay. So let's just preview it in the newsfeed. Sponsored. Click send message for the secret MobileMonkey chatbot group. Okay, so if the user then clicks send message, it pops up. Mobile has a special invitation for you. Join the private Messenger Facebook community for the latest tips and tricks. Click private access, and then it sends the link here. Okay, so just by having them go through that process of sending them through Messenger rather than sending them to the website, the valuable thing here is that they're now a Messenger contact, and so you know who they are, and you can message them back. If you were just buying a click campaign or an engagement campaign on AdWords on Facebook ads, then most of the time, like 98% of the time, you have no idea who clicked on your website. Like you don't have their information. I just wanted to give you some data here. So that campaign that I'm running here to get people to join our group, I'm getting cost per result, so new contacts for about $5 per contact per lead. Now, like keep in mind, if you're doing Facebook click campaigns, it's going to be $3, $4, or $5 per click. Okay, and so and typically conversion rates are like what 1 or 2%. So if it's like $5, you're probably paying $200 to $300 per lead. Here I can get these leads for around $5, and I think that's I mean the problem is Facebook ads prices are keep going up, but this is still 20 to 50 times cheaper of what I was doing for lead generation compared to not using Messenger ads. So I think Messenger is pretty valuable in terms of a kind of a changing the way that you do Facebook advertising as well, because of the way that this gives you messaging permissions, which is just so much more valuable than clicks. There's also another sponsored message format. Remember how I was saying, there's some limitation on promotional content? Well, if you wish to send, even more promotional content, and you for some reason aren't able to get the subscription messaging permission, you could just use the sponsored messaging ad and create a spammy, an offer, buy those juicy beef burgers, and just pay for that distribution. So Let's wrap this up here. In the olden days of marketing, kind of the playbook was to get these lead magnets like your landing pages that you would drive traffic to, okay, so that you could capture their emails so that we could like drip them to death. Um, that's no longer working because it's just the email distribution just doesn't get through anymore. And so I'm suggesting a better way to do this going forward in the next, today and for the foreseeable future, is to use MobileMonkey to capture permissions to get, people to message your page through all those different ways that I've outlined. So that you can send the most engaging content using the best practices that we spoke about today. So in summary, let's talk about my top 6 chatbot marketing hacks. Specifically, we talked about chat blasting. That's like email marketing on steroids, and how you get people's contact information and the ability to send push notifications. We went over some of my favorite lead magnets, like the website pop-up, the comment guard, the landing pages, and we talked about how you can automate questions using content and tagging it with different keywords. There's a live operator takeover. You can jump in the conversations at any time. But also Facebook ads, that this technology is able to convert users at a 10 to 50 time higher, or sorry, lower cost per action than just click campaigns alone. Guys, 2 special offers here for our group. Firstly, an offer to join our secret Facebook group. I personally am approving these memberships, so I will look for your name. It's facebook.com/groups/mobilemonkey. Just join that. But even more valuable, this software, it's typically around $49 a month. We're offering a crazy promotion right now, just through the end of the week, this Friday. It's a special offer for $9 a month for the first 12 months. So that's an 80% savings for 12 months. It's month to month. You can cancel at any time. Just use the code BANANAS when you are buying either in the product or from our website, and that will apply this 80% savings on the software licensing fees.